Welcome to the Sisters in Service podcast, the space where stories from active duty veterans, military spouses, and even military brats finally get the spotlight they deserve. I'm your host, Kat Corchado, Air Force veteran, movement specialist, and the heart behind this podcast. I started Sisters in Service because too many stories from our community were going untold. Stories of resilience, transition, identity, and the strength it takes to serve and to thrive beyond the uniform. This podcast is about connection, empowerment, and reminding each of us that our service didn't end when our military chapter closed. It simply evolved. Sisters in Service is proudly sponsored by Fit for Life Alliance, a space where people are committed to feeling better in their bodies every single day, and by My Sexy Business, where you can own a business that doesn't own you. So grab your coffee, your journal, or your walking shoes, because every episode is an invitation to listen, learn, and lean into the powerful stories that remind us service is a sisterhood that never fades. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sisters in Service. This is a space where we unpack identity, service, and, the stories that shaped us long before we ever put on a uniform or chose not to put on a uniform. If this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're coming back, thank you for listening. You already know this is where we keep it real. Well, I try to. I'm just going to put it there. I try. I don't think I can fake it. Yeah. Anyway, today's episode is personal. It's layered, it's emotional, and for some of you, it might feel like I'm telling your story. We're talking about military brats. Yeah. Not just the label, but the identity, the experience, the unspoken rules, the pride, and the pain. And lately, there's been this conversation online, this debate on who is a real military brat and who isn't. So today we're going to talk about that, but more importantly, we're going to talk about what it actually means to grow up this way. So first of all, let me tell you my version of a military brat. So if you don't know my story, I was born into the military. My dad was already in the Air Force when I was born. So as a child, I thought this is what all kids got to do. They got to travel, go to different countries. So it was a very real experience for me because I thought that's how everybody lived. And looking back, there were some trials and tribulations, I'm going to say. But for the most part, I got to see, hear, smell different countries, different food, different languages, different landscapes that a lot of kids only read about or saw on TV. So I feel very special in that way. And I think being a military brat is a very, very, very unique group of individuals. Now, who is a military brat? So there's been this discussion online. Oh, you're not a real military brat because your dad was in the military, but you didn't really get to move around, so you're not a military brat. Okay, here's my version. If your parent is in the military at any point or time during your childhood, active duty, you're a brat. You're a military brat. Now, if you were born and your father had served or your mother had served and they're out, you're not a military brat. I think that's pretty simple. Now, I might get some people with some pushback. Maybe there's something I forgot. And if there is, let me know. I'm open to discussion on this. So, like I said, I've been a military brat since day one. My dad was in the Air Force when I was born, so this life, it wasn't something I stepped into later. It's how I came into the world. It shaped me before I even knew what identity meant. And if you grew up like this, it's not just about moving. It's how you learn to exist. Some military brats go on to join the military themselves, some don't. And the choice, it doesn't make anyone more legitimate than the other. Because being a brat isn't about what you do later, it's about what you lived. So think about all the things that we went through as a brat, all those things that a civilian child or the child of a civilian doesn't understand. So let's talk about this conversation happening online. People try to define what a real military brat is. And honestly, it feels like gatekeeping. I mean, come on, people. We got bigger things to talk about here than who's a real military brat and who isn't. Being a military brat isn't just about adventure, even though it is an adventure. And it's just one of those things where you go, wow, this is kind of cool, or, oh, wow, this sucks. It's an exciting life. That's what I thought. But there's a weight to it. Moving over and over again. Packing up your room, your memories, your sense of normal, just when it starts to feel stable. The friends you leave behind and the goodbyes. I can tell you that one thing, well, my husband and I are both military brats. My husband did not move around. His father was in the Army. And so my husband can introduce me to his third grade teacher or someone he went to grade school with. I can't remember what grade school I went to and where it was. But I have some amazing memories. So, it's like a give and go. It's a little bit of that, a little bit of this. I get it. The goodbyes don't get easier. You meet people, you build friendships, you create bonds. And then, just like that, your best friend or you is leaving again and again and again. As a child, you don't always have the words for it, but there's grief there. There's loss. There's this quiet understanding that nothing is permanent. And that can work for you or against you as you get to be an adult. And then there's school. Walking into a new classroom where everyone already knows each other, trying to figure out where to sit, who to talk to, who are the cool kids, who are the not so cool kids, who are the kids who play sports, who are the kids in the science club, depending on your interest, or the math club. So you're looking for people that you can trust, and doing that not once, but multiple times throughout your childhood, your adolescence, and even your teenage years. So I will tell you this, at the age of 14, my father walked in and said, hey, we have orders to Germany. Now think about that for a second. 14 is what, 9th grade, 10th grade? I was not happy. I was not happy. Not at all. But what was I going to do? I couldn't take care of myself. I had to go. So that was the one time where I thought, this sucks. So all of that shapes you. It can make you strong, but it can also make you guarded. It can make you independent, but also a little hesitant to get too attached because you know what it feels like to lose people. Not because something went wrong, but because life moved you. And that's a little scary when you think about it. So civilians always talk to me and they go, that must have been awful for you. You know what I learned? I learned how to talk to people. I learned how to walk up into a group of kids and say, hey, I'm Kat. Which makes sense to why I'm a podcaster, because I love to talk. Just put it out there. But it gave me this superpower to be able to talk to anyone. Now it can work in the opposite. Some people don't want it. They don't want to do that. And I get it. because, again, it's scary. And here's something I didn't even realize until I got older. As a child, I thought this life was normal. It's what we did. I thought everybody grew up like this. I thought every kid got to live in different places, experience different cultures, eat food from all over the world, and see things in real life that most people only see on TV or read about in books. I have a very, how can I say, large palate for different types of food. I'm not afraid to try different types of food because of the places that I've lived. Hearing people speak a different language while in line behind me doesn't bother me because I'm used to it. Different cultures, different food, different languages doesn't faze me as an adult. That kind of exposure, that kind of real-time education, that was something special, something unique to our brat life. And it expanded me in ways I didn't even understand at the time. Being a military brat gave me one of the greatest life skills I could ever have, the ability to connect. Have you ever been in a store and you say something and someone standing next to you says something and then you start laughing and giggling and you don't know this person? That happened to me in a supermarket. My husband goes, "Oh, you're going to introduce me to your friend?" I was like, "I don't know her." And he was baffled. He goes, "You guys were laughing and talking like you were friends." I was like, it's the way you connect with people. To walk into unfamiliar spaces and not feel completely out of place. To be able to build relationships quickly, to adapt. That's what I love about being a military brat. Is that if you took that experience, and I'm sorry if this was a bad experience for you. For me, it was very positive. And I took that life and understood what it taught me. What kind of superpowers did it give me? But also, what did it take away from you? I don't have lifelong friends. I just don't. My one longtime friend that was in Germany, her name was Vanita, and they used to call us peanut butter and jelly because we were never apart, ever. And even after her stint in the military and mine, I think we were both lifers, as we used to say back in the day. But unfortunately, she passed away. And this world feels a little more empty because she understood. She was a brat too. She got it. She was my ride or die. Bitburg Air Base, Germany. Holla back, Bitburg, if anyone was there. It's closed now, which is sad. But what did it take away from you? Because there's no one way to live this experience. And there's no one way to carry it. Being a brat is something unique. I've been a military brat, a military spouse, active duty, and now veteran. But my brat life, I don't know who I would be. Well, I don't know that now. But I can't imagine living on any other way. Having that sense of security as a child on a base. Even now, I can go to any base. Now, I'm Air Force. I can go to a Marine base and feel the same way. These are my people. Army base, these are my people. Navy, it doesn't matter. These are my people. Because I feel safe on a base. I still do. I get this sense of, it just feels good being there. It's familiar. It feels comfortable, like a blanket that you put on. So that's my take on being a military brat. How I feel about it. Were there some good things? Sure. Lots of good things. And not some good things. One thing I didn't mention was if anyone who was a brat was overseas during summer vacation from school, the boredom. We had to be creative. Because if you're overseas, and I don't know if all bases overseas are like that, but you had a military side of the base and you have the dependent side of the base where the BX or PX and commissary and all those things were. You also had we used to call it the AYA. I can't even remember what it's the American Youth Association, something like that, where you had a ping pong table and something else where you hung out. But that got old too, so what did you do? You had to be creative. So thank you for spending this time with me on Sisters in Service. This episode resonated with you. Share it with someone who understands this life. And I want to hear from you. What did being a military brat teach you? And what parts of it are you still unpacking? Because this isn't just a label, it's a lived experience. And every story matters. So until next time, please stay safe. Take care of each other. Until next time. And please remember, it's never too late to start your impossible. Thanks for listening.